Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down the corporate jungle gym so you do not have to. Today we are looking at an amendment to a filing from Mach Natural Resources LP. And trust me, this amendment has some juicy corrections that might just tell us more than the original report did. So let's dive in and see what's going on behind the scenes. And hey, before we get into the nitty gritty, make sure you're subscribed and join our Discord community, link down below. We've got some really smart folks sharing insights there. So what we have here is an amendment, meaning the original report had a few things that needed fixing. Think of it like finding a typo in a really important contract and needing to issue a correction. This specific filing is an amendment number 1 to a Form 8K. The original report was filed on the 17th of September 2025, and this update is all about making some important corrections and adding more details. The company we are looking at is Mach Natural Resources LP. They are involved in natural resources, as their name suggests. You might know them from their stock trading under the ticker symbol MNR on the New York Stock Exchange. This filing is an amendment to a current report. Companies file these to announce major events that shareholders should know about. This amendment is specifically updating information about asset acquisitions and financial statements. The main reason for this amendment is to correct the purchase price for something called the ICAV assets and to add a whole bunch of financial statements. It seems like the original report had a number that wasn't quite right, and they also realized they needed to provide more financial data to give everyone a clearer picture of these recent deals. Let's break down what these acquisitions mean. Mach Natural Resources acquired certain rights, title, and interests in oil and gas properties in the Permian Basin from Sabinal Energy Operating, LLC, and 2 other related entities. Think of it as buying up more land and the oil and gas rights associated with it. They also acquired a company called SIMCOLC and another one called Simlog LLC. These acquisitions were from different sellers, VEPU Inc., and Simlog Inc. Simlog itself owns another entity called SJ Investment OPP. LLC, which holds most of Simlog's assets. So they're essentially buying entire companies or significant parts of them. Now, the really interesting part, the correction in item 2.01. The purchase price for these ECAV assets has been revised. Initially, it seems there was a different figure reported, but now the adjusted purchase price is $758.9 million. That is a big number. How did they pay for it? Well, a portion of that $758.9 million was in cash, specifically $349.0 million. The rest was paid for in common units of Mach Natural Resources, LP itself. This means they issued new shares, or in this case, units to the sellers as part of the payment. They issued a significant number of common units, 30,611,264 of them, as part of this deal. This is important because it dilutes the ownership of existing unit holders, meaning their percentage of ownership decreases slightly with the issuance of new units. So while they are growing the company, existing investors own a smaller piece of a bigger pie. Then we move on to item 9.01, which is all about attaching the financial statements. When a company makes a significant acquisition like this, they are required to provide audited financial statements of the acquired companies. This gives investors a look at the financial health and performance of the businesses they are now a part of. They included audited consolidated financial statements for Sabinal Energy Operating, showing their financial position as of the end of 2024 and 2023, and their performance over those years. This helps us understand the historical financial performance of the assets they acquired from Sabinal. They also provided unaudited statements for Sabinal Energy Operating for the 6 months ending the 30th of June 2025, and for the comparable periods in 2024. Unaudited means they have not gone through the full rigorous audit process that audited statements have, but they still provide a good snapshot of recent performance. Similarly, they included audited financial statements for SJ Investment Ops LLC. This covers the 31st of December 2024 and 2023, and also the period from its inception in June 2023 to the end of 2023. This gives us a look at the financial standing of a key part of the Simco acquisition. And again, unaudited statements for SJ Investment Ops LLC are provided for the 6 months ending the 30th of June 2025 and the previous year's comparable period. We also see the audited financial statements for Simco LLC itself for 2024 and 2023. And their operational performance for those years. This is crucial to understand the financial health of the entity that holds Simlog. And finally, the unaudited financial statements for Simco LLC for the 6 months ending the 30th of June 2025 and the prior year are also included. On top of all that, they included unaudited pro forma condensed combined financial information. Pro forma means as if the acquisition had already happened at an earlier date. This gives us a hypothetical view of what the combined company would look like financially as of the 30th of June 2025 and for the 6 months and the full year ending the 31st of December 2024. This is a really useful tool for investors to gauge the potential impact of these deals. And to top it all off, they've included consents from the independent auditors for these acquired companies. This is essentially a confirmation from the auditors that they have reviewed these financial statements and that they adhere to accounting standards. So, what is the big picture here? Mach Natural Resources is clearly going on an acquisition spree. They are expanding their footprint in the Permian Basin, a very active and important oil and gas region. The correction on the purchase price, while seemingly a simple number fix, highlights the importance of accurate disclosure in these filings. The total deal value, close to $760 million, is substantial. The report is signed by Tomel Ward, the Chief Executive Officer of Mach Natural Resources. This indicates the senior leadership is aware of and accountable for the information provided. Looking at this from a more strategic angle, Mach Natural Resources is making bold moves. Buying up oil and gas assets like this is a bet on future energy prices and the company's ability to extract and market those resources efficiently. The fact that they are paying a significant portion in their own stock means they are aligning their interests with the sellers and are confident in their future prospect. However, issuing new units can dilute existing shareholders, so it is a balancing act between growth and shareholder value. The addition of all these financial statements for the acquired entities is great for transparency. Investors can now dig into the actual performance of these purchased assets and see if they were indeed worth the price tag and if they are expected to contribute positively to Mach Natural Resources' bottom line. One of the key risks here, beyond the usual volatility in oil and gas prices, is the successful integration of these new assets and companies. It is not just about the purchase, but about how effectively they can manage and operate them to generate returns. In my opinion, Mach Natural Resources is showing ambition and a clear strategy for growth through acquisition. The corrected purchase price and the extensive financial disclosures signal a move towards greater transparency with their investors. The company is clearly focused on expanding its operational base in a key energy-producing region. The main opportunities lie in leveraging these new assets to increase production and cash flow, especially if energy prices remain favorable. A notable risk is always the effective management and integration of these acquired businesses. Additionally, the dilution from issuing new units needs to be monitored to ensure it translates into significant value creation for all shareholders. Overall, these filings paint a picture of an active growth-oriented company making significant investments in its future. Alright, that is our breakdown of Mach Natural Resources' latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.